Okay, Karuna.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
book. The book.
Oh, yeah. Okay. I liked about 2/3 of it.
Oh, okay.
So I'll tell you the reasons why I liked.
Okay.
It was a good example of show don't tell.
Okay. Oh, that's what you
Okay.
yeah. The type of
I
thing you like.
like the characterization very much.
Okay.
So much so that you hate certain characters, feel pity for certain characters, you are irritated about other characters. I like what else do I like? What
So
else?
which part did you like? The Fanny part or the Zooey part?
No, take the whole book.
Oh, I see.
The whole
Okay.
take the whole book. About 2/3 of it I liked. I'll tell you why I didn't like later on.
Okay.
Then I like the fact that the author was talking about Eastern philosophy.
Yeah,
Putting Eastern philosophy ahead of William Shakespeare was, to me, is fantastic. So number 3.
Okay, gonna read the book.
That's why I said, Key, your book, your kind of book. Yeah.
Then the things which slightly irritated me was I was supposed to go to the dictionary. Okay,
Why? Which?
So certain words were
Very
new to me.
American or very
Okay.
what?
But then there were a lot of cultural items, brand names, which you could only go through Google. Okay.
Okay.
And there was almost about 24 of them.
Yes, that one, yes. That even
and some I couldn't even find what it is. Like there was a reference to PS564. I don't know what that is.
Oh yeah, that would be so American. Yeah, I know.
No, I don't know. At the time we were talking about the Bible, so I thought it was biblical.
Oh, okay.
I cannot catch the word. Could you type it in the chat?
Could you tell us? Yeah, could you type?
So it's PSY. It's a dancer. It's a dance guy from Korea.
Oh, the sign. No, but PSY was not long that time.
This is 564.
Roy,
yeah.
He didn't read the book.
I know.
And then and then what started irritating me more was some of the metaphors or analogies or similes he used. Like he used to describe the lamps in the hall. He used a North African spice, North African Middle Eastern spice called sukubi or sumaki or something like that. And then
I remember that. Yeah.
And then there was another instance where he's saying the stains in the carpet. The stains in the the stains in the curtain or the carpet looked in the shape of a pancreas. So I was wondering who really knows about the shape of a pancreas, And then at about this time, I had this feeling. This book is like almost the exact opposite of Catcher in the Rye, So I had this doubt that he is writing this book purposely to show his critics that he too can write, like say James Joyce, or with lots of thousands of reference, and then he can talk about highbrow people in a highbrow language. So I don't know what.
Okay, I have.
Wait, let me finish a little bit more.
Sure.
So from that point on, I felt that he is writing this book just to show his critics that he too can write like this. And from that point on, I didn't enjoy the book. Okay, that's all.
Okay, Karuna, I have one question, or actually I have one answer. These were the wise children, right? They were savants. So,
okay, yeah.
Right. So would you say that for these, that language would fit
for them that language would fit, okay. But I felt that he went too about with the North African spice. Normally, when you want to explain something unknown, you always explain an unknown through what is known. But here he's doing exactly the opposite. Now, how many people know the shape of a pancreas? How many people know there is this Middle Eastern North African spice which is in a particular shape? So then I found like, oh, this is a bit too much. He's trying to show off. That's what I felt. I haven't read any
Okay.
criticism about Catcher in the Rye, but that's what I felt. Yeah.
And
You know-
I still don't
Yes.
didn't catch the spelling of that word that you mentioned. PS.
Yes,
That is not exactly a word. My first thought was, is it a sentence in the Bible? So because PS, I thought it was.
the Psalms, you mean? PS as in Psalms.
That's exactly what I thought. But this thing doesn't have. Even Google couldn't find it. So
Oh, what was it exactly?
when I
What was
googled it, it goes to a school in Sarawaka Sabah.
Oh, do you no, do you remember the
Do you
page?
remember the word?
Yeah. Do you remember the page?
Or the word?
Oh, the word, yeah.
The word is P full stop S full stop 564. What is it?
Oh,
Reference.
5P full stop
Oh,
X
okay.
564. Okay, yeah, 56. Yeah, I remember that. Because it was in reference
yeah.
to something, right?
Yeah, it was
Thank
PSY.
you.
Yes, Karuna, what you
Yep.
said about the pancreas thingy and the thing, I thought that was brilliant because if you really look at, or when certain things get stained and all that, there's actually that kind of that what amoebic kind of stain which is there, So
Oh,
I
okay.
thought that was really, really good. I don't know why I like that part. So when you said this, I'm saying, oh my God, what's wrong with me?
Okay. Yeah,
because
I get that.
I've seen these. I mean, at home also you can see whether it's old clothes or whether it's a curtain or whether it's a carpet. I thought that was brilliant because it was like so very observant, of him. I felt.
Actually, I did enjoy the first maybe 3/4 or two-thirds. I enjoyed. Then once I started having this feeling, he's trying to show something, prove something. Then my mind changed.
But Karuna, he was actually very interested in Eastern religion. There's this book called Eastern Religions, Western Philosophy or whatever. So they have a lot of all this. He actually went into that. He had that. That's why they call it the modern Zen book, or they
No,
refer to.
I liked it because of that. So I
Okay.
don't complain about that.
Hey,
This
Sue Ann is there. Hi, Aisha. Sue Ann, hello.
Hello.
Hey, nice to see you guys here. Okay. Is it because, okay, nice to see you for Franny and Zooey especially. Okay. All right. Yes, Karuna. Anything else before you?
So yeah, I'm finished.
Don't say you're finished, because I think that word is used there in the book as well. Something to do, yeah, I'm finished, or they're finished. Okay. All right. Thank you so much, Karuna. Okay. What about, so what we can do is we can start. We don't have to really wait for, let people come in as they want, because we are already about 7 of us here. Karuna will be leaving, but never mind. Hi, Aisha. Hope you're fine. So, and we are glad, Suen, you decided to pop in. That's fantastic. Okay, Karuna has to leave to get something done. Okay, so let's then go. Let's then just do a little bit about the story and go about. First of all, I don't know. I think most of you would have liked it. Maybe I feel that because I liked it a lot. And there are so many things in the book. Like many of us, like most of us here have read Catcher in the Rye, and very often that is the only Salinger book many people read, right? Okay, and then like I said, I also had the advantage of having read bits and pieces of Dreamcatcher, which is a book, a memoir by the daughter on Salinger. And it's very interesting. Oh, by the way, Guy, Salinger and you share the same birth date, not the year. Okay. Anyway, both January babies. And what happened is, what was interesting basically about this book was, it was so, first of all, yeah, in the beginning for me, it was very American. Okay, I'm a person who like grew up watching all these American series, okay, whether it's Peyton Place, The Waltons, Apple's Way, Neighbors is Australian, but okay, whatever it is. So when I was reading this, it was so like, oh my God, you know, he captured this family in New York, in Boston, and I thought it was fantastic. And there's some lines were just like pure gems, okay. I thought they were really fantastic. But what I'll do is I'll talk after we all have kind of spoken. Okay. So can we go to you? Sue Ann, you're not in a rush, right? You can be in for an hour at least. Hi, Sue Ann. Okay.
Oh, hi.
Yeah.
Sorry, I was
Yeah.
muted.
Yeah. So
yeah,
if-
I'm not in a rush. Yeah.
okay, then it's okay. Then I will go according to who's on my screen first. So Guy and Ling, you're on my screen, but Guy, I hear you have not read the book. But do you want to make any comments, say anything? Has Ling read the book?
Yes, she has.
Okay, Ling. So over to you, my dear. You all are always the last people to say things. So now first, yeah, Ling.
Did it? No. The book, I don't know what's the purpose of reading the book. Seriously, I have no idea. But it kind of
Okay.
like calmed me down. Anyway, I have nothing to do and I'm so nervous for the breakdown, everything. So I finished the book. And I find that the girl's situation is more fucked up than me. Emotional.
Yeah, so we should be grateful.
Don't know. Should I be grateful? No, I'm not the type of person like all this religious person, right? They will feel
Okay.
happy when see people is more fuck up than them. You know, a lot of these things, my mom's Buddhist organization, they will be so happy to see people that is even poorer than them or more fuck up than them. But to
Oh
me, I
dear.
don't, yeah, this is the purpose of the religion thing, organization.
Okay, what is it you liked about the book? What is it you may not have liked so much about the book?
There's nothing I like about the book, and there's nothing I don't like about the book.
Oh dear. Oh dear. Okay, fine. So you just read it as a story and
it's a story, and that okay lah. To be honest, I think I'll kind of like I can find some meaning from the story itself. It's like don't think too much, lor. There's nothing, you know. It's like I think the girl is a bit fool already, like me. I can see some of my shadow from the girl.
okay. Franny, you're talking about Francis,
Oh,
right?
yeah, Franny, of course, Franny. Yeah, it's like no matter how much you think, how the thing goes, there's nothing happens. So just wake up and eat something and go exercise and do whatever you like to do. If you like to have like party, just go for party.
Oh dear. Okay. All right. Okay.
Yeah.
So is there any particular character you kind of, I know you said you identified with Franny a bit, but is there any of the characters that you really like? Or
there are only 4
dislike?
characters, right? I mean,
people are mentioned. So any?
I think the two passed away one, right? The disease one passed away. The one who commits suicide.
Sema, right? What's his name?
The one, I don't know.
Sema, yeah.
The one who committed suicide, I think it's more or less same as Franny, but in the sense that Franny is stronger than I can't say stronger lah. I can't say. But you know, I think Franny has the same gene with his brother, the one who committed suicide.
Oh yeah, when did Sema commit suicide? How old was he? Everyone, I'm trying to remember that.
18,
Azita, no,
10 years
20
ago.
something.
31.
So 21, is it?
31.
31.
Right, but
30 something, right?
I think right. There is,
I was
note
trying to
at the
go back
end
to
of the
that.
book.
Okay.
31, I calculate.
31.
There is
Okay.
this
Okay. So he was 31, right? So that is like, I mean, he's full-fledged and fully aware of things and stuff. Okay, all right. So yeah, thank you so much, Ling. Guy, you want to add anything or say anything? I mean, even without reading the book or anything you want to respond to what Ling has said?
I will read the book.
my conclusion about the book is after I read the book, the conclusion is no matter how much you think or how much you don't think, the thing will still happen. So just go do whatever you want to do. I feel like week.
Wow, so zen are you? Okay lah. Okay, all right. Thanks a lot, Ling. Okay, now
before you go
yes.
to the next person, Roy,
Yeah,
sorry.
it's
here
you.
it
It's
says
you.
that-
Next person is you.
Oh, okay. Thank
Okay.
you. So it says that the reader then may care to know at the outset that in 1955, the eldest of the Glass children, Seymour, had been dead almost 7 years. He committed suicide while vacationing in Florida with his wife. If alive, he would have been 38 in 1955. So when he
so
committed
30,
suicide, it was
32, 31.
28, 28.
So
Okay,
31,
28
correct.
years
She's right. 31, Aisha said,
Sorry,
right?
when he no sorry when he committed suicide, he was 28. If
Oh,
he were
28.
alive now, he would have been 35. Yeah.
Okay.
The
I
second
see.
eldest child, right?
Buddy?
The second eldest child, Buddy, was what is known in campus Catholic parlance as writer in residence at a girls' junior college in Upper New York State. He lived alone in a small, unwinterized, unelectrified house about a quarter of a mile away from a rather popular ski run. The next eldest of the children, Boo Boo, was married and the mother of 3 children. In November 1955, she was traveling in Europe with her husband and all 3 of their children. In order of age, the twins, Walt and Baker, come after Boo Boo. Walt had been dead just over 10 years. He was killed in a freakish explosion while he was with the Army of Occupation in Japan. Baker, his junior by some 12 minutes, was a Roman Catholic priest, and in November 1955, he was in Ecuador attending a Jesuit conference of some kind.
Okay, thank you so much. So the 7 siblings. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, Azita,
I'll
over to
send
you.
a screenshot of this later.
Yes,
Right.
yes.
Okay. So I love Salinger, and since I'm obsessed with the correct pronunciation of
Okay, it's Salinger. Okay, okay.
that,
All right.
Yeah. Right.
Very Irish.
And I love this book as the short book, and the philosophy behind it was amazing. I really liked it, and as Karuna said, the best thing about the book was that it was show not tell, and that deep philosophy being put in something like 80 pages instead of just going on. I was just imagining if Tolstoy was to write this book, it would have been turned into 3 volumes. And this is the magic of Salinger, just being so brief and so deep. And the last pages especially, it's just mind-blowing. I agree with Stephanie. Just the depth of the last pages makes the whole book such a rewarding experience. And the relationship between the siblings, between these 2, Franny and Zooey, although you feel all through that there is this tension between them, that Franny is not responding, but at the same time, when you get at the end that phone call, that pretending on his part, and then the discovery on her part, and then the fact that she doesn't hang up on him, and that part, that what comes after that silence, it shows that strength of the relationship between the 2 of them. Beautiful, and the way that he wanted to put things right for her, the way that the shadow that Seymour's suicide, sorry, we are spoiling it for you, has cast on the family, and the fact that they, I'm saying they, but what comes into the stage of the story is the mother and Zooey, and we hear about the father's anxiety, that they all feel that Franny is also on the same verge, that if they don't do anything about it, she might also commit suicide. That this is felt, it's not said, but it's shown. It's beautifully shown, and you feel the same anxiety as a reader. And you can see that Zooey feels responsible, that he's put on the spot by the mother, that you have to do something about it. And then after he goes into Seymour's room and looks at all those things belonging to his brother and coming into that decision. Beautifully shown. I won't go on and on taking everybody's time, but yeah, I was very much impressed.
You can always go on and on. That's not an issue. Yeah, actually, a lot of things, like, I mean, the phone call thingy was mind blowing. But what is interesting is that there has been an episode like that in I mean, personally. So I was like, oh my god! I mean, this is actually written about, you know, and it is like it was so. Could you have actually guessed in the beginning? We couldn't have guessed, right? Because Buddy was like, okay, Buddy, I'm talking this, that, and all that.
I did. Oh, I'm sorry.
You
I
did.
have read too many crime novels. I could guess from
You could get. Okay. I was like, okay, never mind. Suddenly, you know, the mother says this. I mean, I should have guessed because it was like quite suspicious that way. But then I loved that. I just loved that bit of it. And when you spoke about Zooey and the mom, I love that banter kind of a thing that they had. And I just couldn't get over Bess. How could she hold up? You know, it was like, it's amazing. But anyway, I'll leave that till later. We go to you, Steph. Hi, Steph.
I think I'm on link. I don't like the book, but I like the book. I would actually divide this book into 3 parts. The first part was Franny and her boyfriend in the restaurant. That part, and she was talking about her analyzing the Pilgrim book and all that, and then the boyfriend is like totally lost. And then the second part was in the bathroom where Mrs. Glass and Zooey. That part was really annoying. I couldn't stand Mrs. Glass. I would have murdered her already. If that was my mother, oh my God.
No, but Steph, before you continue, that is so normal.
No, my mom is not like that.
Okay,
She is so
right.
persistent and annoying. And how many times she got chased out? He said, no, I need to do this. And Zooey was so patient with her. I mean, he was like blurting out so many, God damn it, but she just so thick-skinned.
I mean, I suppose, yeah, okay, anyway, I'll speak in her defense later, but yes, okay.
And the third part was, of course, Zooey and Franny in the living room, and they were talking. That was the best part I loved, because even though Zooey was portrayed as someone who is very like straightforward and no nonsense, but when he came to that part, he was so philosophical, and he was trying to put some sense into Franny. And I like the part of the cat. What's his name?
Bloomberg.
Yeah.
Bloomberg.
I was like, who the hell is this Bloomberg painting? Oh, it's a cat. That was quite comical in a way. So I also like the phone call experience. That was very touching, because it actually shows how she views one brother as such. She has so much respect and she's very submissive to that brother. But when on the other hand, the other brother, Zooey, is like, she just can lash out at him, and they fight and all that. So it's really a very typical family kind of story. But when you read about it and you know that what actually happens in that family, you get shocked because you've never experienced that in your own family. But I'm sure it's a very typical family story. Yeah, so it's balanced. Don't like.
Okay, not bad. Thank you. Thanks so much, my dear. Aisha, what about you?
Hello.
Hi.
I haven't really finished the book, but
where are you at?
where am I at?
I mean, you're done with the Franny already?
Yeah, I'm done with Franny. Midway, Zooey. So
Okay.
I would say I understand the like and not like bit, but I love the book. So I think the thing is with J.D. Salinger, okay, I've only read Catcher in the Rye, and this is the second one. The thing is though, like even with Holden, you how do you even explain Holden? I kind of want to smack him in the face, but like I understand Holden. It's the same thing I suppose with Franny and Zooey when on Lane even to that extent. Like okay, here's the thing though. They are youth, right? And I see through them, I see even the current youth, my own friends, myself even, and I find that this is the power of Salinger's work. His coming of age story. This is why Catching the Right people still relate to, probably even this book as well, because despite the differences in the era, the differences in our political atmosphere right now, our social atmosphere right now, there is some degree of relatability that makes these two work endearing and relatable, relatable in some sense. And like they are annoying, I agree, but at the same time, it's as annoying as my friends are, and I love my friends. It is as annoying as myself, and I can't stand myself once in a while. Even Bessie itself. Sometimes I get in my 20s or in my teens, I can't stand my mom, but and now we're best friends. So it's that the realness of his character and the realness of the emotions that he brings out, that's why you kind of like, do I even like this book? But yeah, I do. And this is what I appreciate about Salinger, and yeah, the thing it the thing you said about families, this definitely made me mind, happy families are all alike, and every unhappy family is unhappy in its own way, isn't it? And this is another story that embodies that. What else can I say about this? Yeah, like one thing that I think, I don't know if anybody already mentioned or Karina has mentioned, I like especially the Franny part or any of the philosophical part or the Franny part where they converse about the arts, writing, literature, and all of that. I really that is another theme or aspect that Salinger was exploring, the idea of art criticism in some sense, and I appreciate that back and forth, I would say. Also, there was one bit Buddy was advising um, Zoe about acting, which is again another bit that I um, appreciate. Is another art discussion, and I like that Salinger put that in amongst all of the family stuff. I appreciate that sort of conversation. What was it like? Yeah, he was questioning Zoe what kind of if you're being an actor, what kind of an actor you want to be? Is it television or is it film or is it theater? And then there's one piece that I like, which is he quoted, or will you dream of something a little more cosmic? Playing Pierre or Andre in a Technicolor production of War and Peace. With stunning battlefield scenes and all the nuances of characterization left out on the ground that they're novelistic or unphotogenic. And I appreciate this as a film fan because this is one bit of novel to film adaptation that sometimes are lost, keep in mind, things like the English patient or the reader. When we read, it's another different piece as to what we see. There are some things that are not translated. Sorry, I'm going on off.
No
I'm
problem.
digressing a bit, but I think this is part of the theme, and it's what I took from the book. So, So yeah, I appreciate that bit from a filmmaking point of view, or or novel adaptation point of view, more like what else can I say about this? There's that one Seymour note that kind of wrenched my heart a bit. The little girl on the plane who turned her doll's head around to look at me. That was, I don't know, Roy, would you? I thought you would have appreciated that as a haiku writer. If that's a haiku.
Yeah, there were a few.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, I think I'll stop for now because that's all I have to say anyway. To finish the book. Anyway, thank you.
Okay, thanks a lot. Okay, Sue-Ann, over to you, my dear.
Oh,
Yeah, hi,
I'm not
Sue-Ann.
sure because hi. I'm not sure though because I have not heard of the book until yesterday when I read in the chat group. But
Oh, okay, all right.
yeah. So I did not read it, but the synopsis was interesting, so I decided to just pop by to listen to what you all have to say about it. Yeah.
Okay. Have you read any other Salinger?
Well, I read Catcher in the Rye, but it was not complete. Yeah.
Okay, I
Yeah.
see. Okay, all right. Yeah, because Catcher in the Rye is such a famous book that that is why I put the link there. But just to tell you about Dream Catcher, so that's how you know the daughter came up with this memoir. Okay, all right. So actually, there were too many things in the book, right? I like from the start till the end, I thought it was fab. Okay, fabulous in a sense that here's this person who's talking about this family where the kids have been like geniuses, literally celebrities, and then they've been known because it's a wise child or something, right? They were acting in that, they were not acting, sorry, in the, what do you call it? They were there in the show, on the radio talk show. Again, that I thought was so amazing because you only get to know all these things through, what I mentioned earlier, a lot of American family serials. I think many of you now, you look at different ones, like you have different things to look at. But when I was growing up, I really had this whole lot of, from Peyton Place to the Waltons to, just name it, and it's all so family based, right? So it was so interesting to know of this family, and also the fact that there are only a few of them present, but we could know and we felt about the rest of them, we actually knew Samuel did this and Buddy did that, and I think the word buddy that was used for Franny was like a term of endearment, right? And when I was reading through some comments, people were actually saying that this was very cathartic. It's a kind of a novel that is very cathartic in a sense that it talks about and it brings about a lot of things. And Franny, from the beginning, at the beginning, I really liked her. I liked the way she was portrayed. And then even when she was lashing out and all that, I think I think all of us would have gone through that at some time or the other of in our lives. And that's why when they say it is so zen, right? I can totally relate, because I think there are times when you just want to go and kill everybody. Okay, there are also times when you are like, you say, wow, everything is so good, I feel blessed. But many times that, oh, why is this happening or whatever, right? So, and then the fact that, you remember when she scolded, when Franny, those of you who read it, when Franny was actually scolding Zooey and saying that, not saying, just complaining about him and saying, okay, first of all, this guy, like he dismisses Jesus, and then he says Jesus is the like most, most intelligent guy ever, and you have to be, if you're the son of God, that's exactly what you're supposed to be, and all that. So there's a lot of things that were in the book that I liked, and I felt that this is also a book that those in the philosophy and psychology club should read, because this brings out a lot of things about what people think of life and the meaning of life, and the fact that there was a suicide, and what do you call it, Steph, when you're talking about Bessie, right? I think for Bessie, she's always on edge, And the fact that Zooey, remember she says that I think somewhere in the book they mentioned he's the most handsome of the lot, right? Of the 7 children or something like that. And then he's an actor. And then he's actually quite sweet, that way. And, the parts that I liked about the bathroom scene was that when Salinger just drew our attention to, the familiar blue bath mat, which was like a friend. And I was thinking, oh my goodness, doesn't it happen with us? There are certain places in the home or certain objects at home that we familiarize ourselves with. And when it's there, you feel that sense of, okay, like, somebody familiar, or even if it's not somebody, it's something, and then the fact that I thought it was so natural, the fact that the house was being painted, and then, things were kept here and there. And then the fact that she was just stuck in the corner in the couch. And when Zooey tells her about that corner, that was the place where he raised his rabbits or something like that, right? Do you remember that? That was also the place. And I love the fact that he said that, oh, you could have had your breakdown in college and nobody would have bothered about you, but you choose to come here, you choose to come here and have the breakdown here because here you're like the little princess. All of us will cater to you, we'll run about, and we will make sure. And that's exactly what's happening. And what is beautiful about it is Franny actually, although she says it's, this family is like crazy and everything, she has that sense of belonging, in that corner, in that family, to have come back. And look at Les. I mean, he's the one who speaks the less at home, the least in the book, right? The father. But he's talking about tangerines. Oh, goodness gracious me. So I was like, wow, because he doesn't know how to express his concern any other way. And I thought it was brilliant as a family story. It was brilliant the way that why I felt it was brilliant is because whenever I feel uncomfortable, when I'm reading something, I know it is able to have that kind of effect on you. I think it's usually a good book. And there were parts when, I felt that this sense of, I won't say discomfort, but uncomfortableness, where you feel that, oh my God, this has happened in my family, or this has happened to somebody I know, or this is exactly what happened. Because about the phone call thingy, I had this many years ago where a cousin actually, calls up and saying that he was somebody else and stuff like that. So it was like, wow, okay. And that also because he was concerned about something. And also because somebody in the family wasn't talking to the other person who usually calls and, stuff like that. So I thought, wow, this is actually in a book and wonderful. I found it like interesting that families go through this. And yes, Steph, it may not be something that our families here go through, but there are certain underlying things about, siblings and how you're close to some siblings and you can lash out to some, and the others you're a little more respectful. And the fact that, she actually tells Buddy, who she thinks Buddy, she said, yeah, you turned us into freaks, and that was like, I was thinking, wow, because you see, if you've been in a large family, or if you've seen how a large family works, there is a lot of gap between the elders and the younger ones. And actually, it does happen that way, that there are many families that, the elder ones, because, when I was growing up in Gombak, in my kampong, my next door neighbor, every year there was a baby, okay? Every year there was a child. So the eldest girl, who was 2 years older than I was, she was the one looking after the 7th or the 8th baby, 7th child or 8th child. And then I was just telling her, how do you do it? And then she said, Biasa lah, every year, my mom is in bed, so I'm the one who does the rushing, the cooking, the everything else. But it was so amazing because I thought of them, and they were finally, all of them were about 9 of them, right? But imagine I've seen this girl, I've seen the way she ran the house. So going to school, 2 years older to me, that means when I was in like standard 6, she was in form 2, and she would come back and she would be cooking and she would be washing and taking care of the mother and doing all sorts of things. So sorry, I digress a bit. But a lot of things reminded me of different families that I've known. And the fact that it was New York, Boston also was very interesting because I was trying to kind of imagine the the apartment, the place where they lived in on the 5th floor. And then it was the fact that it was overlooking a school, which again was very common when I was looking at certain pictures of New York, right? Because, there were so many apartments and which were actually opposite schools and other institutions. And I thought that was like, Salinger was, see, when I read Catcher in the Rye, I was like, hooked from the start till the end, because that was also bad. So I thought this one would be, everybody talks about Catcher. This is not going to be, it's not going to be anywhere near Catcher. But you know what? I really loved it. And in its own way, it has its own beautiful bits. And also the fact that there was a comment I read where they said that the novel is about arguments. And where better to start than in a family? Because a family is where arguments are had, a family where things are done. So for me, I would give it 5 out of 5 Steph, because I thought not only the writing and also, yeah, of course, the references that Karuna mentioned about the American things. Yeah, I was also trying to understand some, but I didn't have time to look up a few things like, the TV serials that they mentioned. But I thought that was brilliant. And okay, I wanted to ask you one more thing about the shoes, shining the shoes, is it? Do it for the fat lady, right? For the fat lady. But in between, remember this Zooey calls his mom the fat lady.
Yes.
Yeah, he calls can somebody say that? Yeah, fatty, sorry. He calls her fatty, not fat lady. Oh, okay. Yeah, he calls her fatty, not fat lady. So can anybody shed a little bit of light on that, on the fat lady thingy? I thought that was very interesting.
The fat lady thingy, yeah. But my first thought, as you said, it was that it has a connection with the mother, but then it became a bigger thing. So,
yes.
Right. So it was one of the most beautiful parts of the end, almost the end. So yeah, what he said is that when they were children, because it was a radio show, he didn't want to shine his shoes. He didn't want to go into the trouble of shining his shoes. And the eldest brother, Simon, said that, do it for the fat lady. And he kept imagining this fictional, this imaginary listener, this fat lady who is having health problems and financial problems.
Cancer, yeah.
Listening to the radio from dawn to dusk, and just to make her happy, he went through all this trouble and would shine his truth every day, every single time that they had to go to the radio and record this show. And then in the end, he says to the sister that, do you know that everybody is fat lady, and do you know this fat lady is Jesus?
Jesus, yeah.
Right. And then the thing is, I loved his interpretation of Jesus because, first of all, what you mentioned earlier, that he tells Franny that you don't know Jesus Christ and you're talking about him, and then you're talking about prayer, etc. The argument that he said that when you read the Bible, the Jesus depicted in the Bible is nothing as what you say, what you Christians portray, that it is all love and nothing beyond love. It's not the Jesus that you see in the Bible, and that is exactly how I felt. So, because I have read the Bible, the New Testament and the Old Testament and New Testament from cover to cover.
Okay.
I haven't read the Quran, the whole Quran, obviously.
Oh dear, okay.
But I have read the New Testament and the Old Testament. And because I have not been brought up as a Christian, I haven't been, let's say, I haven't been subjected to any kind of teaching that would turn me into one way or another to think about Jesus in one way or another. So my perception was based on what I was seeing, what I was reading in the Bible. And what I had thought of by reading novels, by seeing movies and hearing things. And then I had read about Saint Francis of Assisi.
Assisi, yes.
Right? And exactly the same thing. So that portrait of love and nothing else was Saint Francis, but not the Jesus in the Bible. Not at all. So yeah, that Jesus is about justice, not about love. And yes, so yes, Zooey, that's it. Thank you. Thank you for saying that. And then at the end, what he's saying about Fat Lady, exactly the same thing. So you don't need to believe that it's all about love in order to be compassionate towards everybody by seeing them as Jesus Christ.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, and I really loved it.
Yeah, fantastic. Because I was also thinking, and then when Zooey also said, oh yeah, I also kind of thought something like that when she said the fat lady. And the fact that, okay, everyone here, what's amazing is that, you know, it's a radio show. Nobody's going to look at your shoes, you know, and nobody's, but the fact that, you know, that whole thing was like, I won't say surreal, but so interesting because, you know, it happens with us also, right? When we were young and they say, okay, do this or that, but then, you know, they are not going to notice, they are not going to know. But then, you know, if you do that, you know, you keep your, what do you call it? You wear your clean clothes or you keep something in your stuff. So I thought that was so fantastic because Salinger is like, you know, he's brilliant because these are the little things that he brings in. And the fact that he got into the whole psychology of the Glass family and he started it. And I also actually found it very interesting that they were called Glass because I was looking at things like transparency, I was looking at things like cutting, I was looking at, I mean, just the symbolism, nothing, you know, just my own thoughts, you know, I say, okay, why glass, you know, that also was also very interesting. And then there's one part where they talk about, I like the part when he talks about the eyes, you know, the blueness of Zooey, the blueness of Zooey's eyes and the blueness of Franny's eyes, and then how Zooey's one is slightly apart or something like that, you know, whenever he looks at, oh, I thought that was so brilliant, you know, those little observations. And then that's where the Irish thing came, you know, that Irish blue eyes kind of thing. I said, oh no, we are doing Dominus tomorrow.
Bessie's
Yeah,
eyes
yes,
was mentioned. Bessie's eyes was mentioned as well.
Oh, yes, Bessie's eyes were also mentioned. Yeah, true. Yeah, correct. I remember that. And okay, coming back to Bessie, yeah, of course, that bathroom scene, like when you're reading it, it's like, oh my goodness, why are you bothering your son? Can you just get away? I totally get you, Steph. Yeah. But then again, you know, the mother who, I felt that the fact that she was in the same space with the son gave her that kind of, you know, okay, at least I'm there, you know, I can feel that he's my boy or he's there with me, and you know, everybody has left. And the fact that also she felt, you know, what Azita said earlier, one of you said she felt that he would actually be able to do something for Franny. And I just couldn't get over the chicken broth. I just couldn't. I think many of you would have faced this at home when your mother keeps coming to you with rasam and this and that, and you're saying, oh no, not again, you know. And do you realize that these are good stuff that we are like turning away because, you know, we are ill and we don't want to do that? Oh, I thought that was really good as well.
It was wonderful. And the fact that, you know, there are things that he puts in the story and then you think, okay, but at the end, the significance is built up, and that was one of them when Zooey says, okay, so you think that if you go around the world looking for religion, but you don't understand that the chicken broth that restaurant brings to you is her religion and is so sacred, and yes,
truly, Azita, I thought those were like so good. I mean, that's why I say that Salinger was an acute observer, because how can you write it if you don't actually see and know these things, right? And everything that was, even the, you know, when Zooey goes into their rooms and looks at all the quotes, you know, quotes of all those people, and like the way he says, one was above the other, one was like 5 these things away. I was thinking, wow, I mean, so amazing. And then there was this from Kafka to Ramakrishna to everybody else, you know, all the quotes were there. I thought, wow, this is like really amazing. And this actually also brought out Salinger's view, you know, he was also looking at religion, looking at things and seeing how things work. And also I feel that this Christ thing came about, the emphasis came about also because he was, I don't know whether he was catering to a certain audience or whether it was his own thing, but I felt that I think during the 1950s or something like that, remember before the hippie movement, Azita, just correct me, there was this thing in, you know, religion and Christ. So I was trying to, I didn't have time to read up any background, so I couldn't, but I was kind of thinking, yeah, maybe this is the time when people were trying to look at churches and look at trying to, I think after the war or before, during the war, they were trying to make sense out of life, right? So many people were questioning things. And what did you all think of Lane? Lane, the boyfriend. And I really love the way she went on about all those, you know, all those people who just, you know, quoted an ego and stuff like that. I was saying, oh my God, when you're in academics or when you're studying, you can just imagine what she's saying. Even, you know, okay, yeah, yes. What did you all think?
I
People
didn't like
like
him.
Lane still exist on Twitter.
On
Twitter.
Oh, okay.
So that's what I meant. Like, you know, the characters that Salinger fleshed out, like despite the year and whatnot, it still exists. This kind of character, and that's why it's so amazing. You know, it's so relatable and everything.
Yeah, that's so true. And about college life and about, you know, everything. I think, Aisha, you would also know, you've been in the, you know, when you've been in that education thing and you know that some people are different. And also something about her dream. Is it this one about the pool? She was in the pool. What is this story? The dream she had, then the professor was just standing and watching and the two girls were like knocking her down in the pool or something like that. She was some swimming pool or somewhere, a lake or swimming pool or somewhere like that, and then she kept diving back in because they kept telling her to dive back in or something like that. I kind of like, I kind of just read through that. I didn't go back to that. I think that also is actually something we can interpret. So maybe I'll go back to that later because I was like wanting to know what happened next, you know, and also the fact that. What did you think about Zooey having to go out at night to meet that fellow? He had to get a script. He had to get a script or something, right?
Okay.
In the middle of the night, not middle, I mean late at night. Remember, he was asked to go, and then he says, "Who wants to leave when you're in your pajamas and you want to go to the village? They call it the village, right?
Yeah.
And then go and get a script or something like that." I remember. So I also found that very interesting because doesn't that happen to us also? Sometimes, you know, if it's not work related or whatever, you say, okay, can you meet me, please? You know, I need to see you. Yeah, maybe not so late, but I think that also happens, right? To many of us. So, yeah.
We haven't gone out for over a year, so all memories of social interaction.
Exactly. Yeah, somebody actually just asked me that day about what happened in 2020. So I didn't know. I replied that way because the person laughed. The person said, so I said, what 2020? It's like, where did it go? What 2020? You know, it's like, you know, it's like, you're right, Aisha, we haven't really been out. So what's happening? Yeah, true. Yes. Yeah. Azita, you were saying something.
I hadn't had that experience of people asking me to meet them late at night.
Okay.
But the fact that he was an actor was another thing that that Salinger put at the beginning, and then it had a purpose, because that phone call, the fact that he was able to fool his sister, even for a short while, right? It was because of his acting abilities, and then he's an actor, so yes, he can fool her. And another thing that I really, a line that I really loved was, Remember when he's talking to her and he's also observing the effect that his sentences have on her, and he's feeling bad about breaking her so much. And then there is a sentence that says, it was as if a boy that loved all animals.
Yes, I remember that.
Yeah, is looking at at his sister who loved only bunnies. Open his birthday present to her, which is a cobra, right?
Yes, with the ribbon.
You know, the power of language that comes out, it can express that emotion that he is looking at her, and then the difference in them, that he understands all of these different kinds of religions and thoughts and can accept them all, and she cannot. And then he doesn't want to harm her, hurt her feelings, but at the same time he's giving her his perspective. But in this analogy, it came out so powerfully.
Yeah, true. And another thing is, what's with the smoking? Yeah, what's with this? So everyone, oh my God, and they had the huge size cigars or cigarettes, and from the mother, and they kept taking it out, and even the cigarette was on the floor, and Franny was.
Yeah, that decade. It's a decade. Do you remember Mad Men? Have you watched Mad Men?
No, I have not.
Okay, so
that's their culture.
Yeah, that time in America, it was all
I think
cigarettes.
I read somewhere recently where at one point cigarettes were advertised as something that helps your breathing. Even can you believe that?
Exactly.
Yeah, it opens up your respiratory, like your lungs.
Oh, that's
or
why
something
people
like that.
to relax
it had a very positive image. Yeah.
I see, but I was just thinking, because I can't take the smell of cigarettes. I was just thinking, oh my God, a whole apartment smelling of cigarettes. It's like, they've driven me crazy, but I was just thinking, and all the time, I think the word ashtray was mentioned, like, don't know how many hundreds, 10 times, whatever in the thing. And then, anything to do with the cigarette, from the mother to the son to the thing. And in our culture, like in the Indian culture, the child doesn't smoke in front of the parents. They don't. I mean, it doesn't happen. So I was like, wow, very happily, smoking left, right, center. That was like, okay.
And the funniest part was that Franny, in that phone call, when she was thinking that she's talking to Buddy, she was saying, and he smokes, and I hate him. And at the same time, she was
exactly. Yeah. I remember that. In fact, somebody was saying, this is not, in one of the comments, this is not, however, the ideal book to read when quitting smoking. I found that so funny. I said, yeah, definitely not. Okay. All right. About Franny's condition, right? How would you see it? Would you see it as like manic depression, or anything to do with nothing to do with being bipolar or anything, right? Because I was trying to think at that particular time, what is it? Is it because they were so successful when they were young that they're getting into this, or is it because it's an existential thing? But it happens to all of us when we are growing up at a certain point in our life.
It's quite hard to say, isn't it? I mean, for me personally, from my personal experience and all that, I've sort of been trained to not psychoanalyze or diagnose anyone so much. That's one thing. But again, this is a literally piece, and we're criticizing it, so I guess there's some leeway there. But there's one thing I would like to say though. There's a research that there's a correlation between overachievers when they are young, and depression or whatever when they're older. There's a correlation between an increase of them being depressed, because when you're an overachiever when you're young,
yes,
there's an expectation already, but the situation in life might change, or things might get harder, and when they can't cope with not being able to achieve when they are older, they start breaking down, and it's quite a common trait or common pattern in that sense. So
Ah,
maybe that's what happened with Simon. Maybe that's what's happening with Franny. Obviously, maybe that's what happened. That is what all 7 siblings go through. But
Mm.
in the case of Simon and Franny, they are more vulnerable to the pressure. Maybe.
yeah, and
I
also,
agree with.
okay, yeah, yes, Azita.
I'm sorry. Yeah, I agree with Aisha that we definitely should not try to diagnose characters in books, at least not us lay people. But since the end implies that she is now well after that conversation.
She's smiling, and she's looking up at the room and smiling.
Right. It cannot be anything as serious as
Yes.
bipolar or depression because
Not
So I
something
would say
clinically,
yes,
sorry, not
exactly.
something clinical, but a depressive state or depressive phase.
Yeah, something existential, an existential crisis, something just related to thinking and trying to figure out those important questions. I would say that is.
And I also like the part when Zooey actually tells her, remember, they went for that show where she was acting and she was good because she keeps complaining, or she did complain about the audiences or something. Remember, he says, you're saying the audience is bad, you're bitching about them and this, that, and all that. So they actually care, they go, and he keeps telling her what I like is the fact that he keeps saying that, you are like somebody who is like so intelligent, so smart, so what's happening, let people be, and then this whole thing about the ego again is very, like you said, very zen and very things and things like that. So yeah, I suppose
I'm just curious, why can't we diagnose characters? Because Franny
Because
did
we
that.
do not have the knowledge. So I would say
yes,
that doctors, psychologists, they're welcome to do that. But the same thing as we should not diagnose our friends, our family members, our colleagues. We should not do that to
Of course,
the
that one, no.
characters.
But I don't think it's anything wrong diagnosing characters because the
No, it's
reason
not
why
ethically wrong. Definitely not ethically
the
wrong.
reason why the writer writes the story is for us to get us thinking about it. I mean, that's what Franny did with the pilgrim character. She analyzed, she diagnosed, she really digested
There
the
is a
story.
difference between analyzing and diagnosing.
Yeah.
Diagnosing
Yes,
is medical. Analyzing is
analyzing is totally allowed. In fact, we do
I
that in
think,
literature.
okay,
Yes.
to make it clear, I think the thing is diagnose and analyze.
Yes.
Diagnose is a medical term itself.
to give them a label
Yes,
that you are
Yeah.
ill with this.
So part of the thing with mental health, a part of a bigger problem is stigma, stigmatization. Even
Yes,
though
correct.
this is just a fictional character, I mean, on a social level, when we hear a little bit of thing, then we start going, oh, that person has bipolar or whatever, that feeds into the stigma in some sense. And even though this is just a fictional character, that practice comes from somewhere and we should not in a way encourage it, even like for a fictional character, we are basing from maybe not enough background in some sense, even when
Okay.
even when in real life as well, as a psychiatrist or even as a psychiatrist or clinical psychologist, they don't come up with a diagnosis if on the first meet, in a way, on a first appointment. They will usually meet them for several times and then come to a conclusion because it is not usually as clear cut. So I mean, it's not ethically wrong, again, as Azita said, when it comes to fictional characters, but I guess we should be a bit more
cautious.
yeah, if you get what I mean. Yes.
Mhm.
Yeah, true,
Right,
true.
but the exception is, I would say, when the author gives us the diagnosis upfront. The novels that are written partly with the purpose of giving the reader, the awareness of what this condition is like. So, for instance, that the curious incident of the dog
in the midnight,
in the midnight, right?
Yes.
That one. So it's about that child with autism.
With autism, correct.
Right. So it's partly is written to give you that understanding of what they go through, what's their perspective on life.
Also, oh gosh, I'm saying this again, but on Earth we're briefly gorgeous as well, right? The mother has PTSD.
Yes.
He himself has bipolar. He outrightly said that. So let's go wild. He's perfect.
Yes.
So it's okay. So it's okay if the author himself or herself say that this person is this, that is fine. But we should not diagnose that person.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like you'll be sentenced to death or whatever over it. But
I mean, this is a learning curve for me in my reading habit because
or let's say I would just venture to say that because it's something that we cannot help. We read and there is a theory formed immediately, right? Let's say that the best way is to put a disclaimer on it. That this is my uninformed opinion, that this is my unmedical opinion. I don't know enough information, but I guess maybe from what I understand, something like that. Because it's human nature, you read about it and you compare it with the cases that you know.
That's one thing that I don't quite like about this book because the story goes so abruptly into Franny and her thing. There's no background to it. I mean, I'm a depression patient. I would like to know the story of how she came to that point. And that is what I don't like about this book. It's just too abrupt.
But Steph, I thought that was the beautiful part of it. It got us.
I didn't like it.
It got us like wanting to read on.
Now it gets me thinking, and I diagnose it, and now I know that it's not right to diagnose characters.
Analyze can.
I'm in a dilemma.
No, it's okay, fine. As Karuna, are you still there? Hi, Karuna. Where's Guy? Guy disappeared also. Hi, Karuna.
Can I say something about Bessie?
Yes.
Yeah, you guys were talking about the bathroom scene, right? And I couldn't get my point in then. Don't you think that also Bessie's, her somewhat reluctance or stubbornness of not getting out of the toilet I think she herself is having a moment, then she herself is letting out to Zooey, because sometimes Zooey will be talking about one thing and then she'll start talking about another thing. It kind of reminded me of my mom somewhat.
No, but I like the way he just like tells her off and she's like so okay. And then the fact that he always says, remember there's certain words and phrases, I think they talk about it later in between where Bessie always makes a lot of sense with what she says or something to that effect. That also not bad because the kids, they kind of dismiss her, but then they know that, okay, what she's saying is also not wrong, So very typical. I thought that was so typical of most families. Don't we do that with our moms, all the time? Oh, you shut up. You don't even know this,
I don't say my mom shut up like penguin.
Me neither.
No. I'm telling you, there's so many things like that. Yeah.
And come to think of it, Zooey is like the normal one in the family because he's able to analyze. He can see what Franny needs to hear, what his mother needs, and his mother trusts him a lot to actually to make.
Actually, I love Zooey. I thought,
and the fact is, and then there's a theory: those who curse a lot are the brainiest ones, and Zooey is like, God damn it, God damn it, God damn it. Oh God, The school is
Oh,
full of goddamits.
yeah, no, and also remember they keep saying this place is full of ghosts, this family,
Oh, I
a
love
lot
that.
of ghosts, and then they had to think, and it was, and also the part, I know Karuna talked about the description of all these other things, but when Salinger was describing the room of the boys, right, of Sema and Buddy, oh, I thought, wow,
That was
the chairs, the two, whatever,
Yeah,
and then you can actually imagine, okay, these are for the young ones, then how they've outgrown it, and they moved out. Oh wow, I said, those things were like, that is
He's a
when
master. He's a master in creating atmosphere.
yes,
The
oh
last
yes,
the last time I read Catcher in the Rye was I think 2 years ago, the same time that we did it in CC, and that's the scene in the elevator. You
yes,
see in the bedroom with the prostitute. He's walking in that window, the place with his teacher when he's touching him. All of those is just so vivid in my mind because of the way that he creates that atmosphere of anxiety or of feeling safe or feeling lonely. Everything, that emotion just jumps at you, and you feel yourself at that place, and you see it in your eyes. Right?
Yeah. And what was also
Roy,
yes,
sorry, I don't know about others, but I see the hair of those characters behind you as the wings on your shoulder, and the part of that ampersand as a bow on your
yes. Yes, actually very interesting. And also they did describe, I think Fanny's hair was as black as something, right? Somewhere along, I don't know whether, I remember that as well. Yeah, and what was also interesting, I forgot what I wanted to talk about. The acting, the play, about Zooey. The fact that, he wanted to set this right before he went, that scene again, where the mother just tells him, and I thought these are things that are so, by the way, so you don't even talk about it. And the mother says, hey, you're sweating, you're perspiring, that's perspiration. And then go change or something like that. And then he just unbuttons the shirt, whatever. And, little things like that. I was thinking, oh my God, this is like so, what happens in a home, So I kind of really, really liked, and that is what I wish I had the luxury of time, because I wanted to read each one rather than reading it so fast, just read and absorb and enjoy the book. No, I just want to ask before any of you make any comments. Sue Ann, would you read the book after you listen to us? Hi, Sue Ann.
Hi. Yes. I mean, of course, if I had the luxury of time, I would definitely read it from the synopsis alone, actually.
Okay.
Because, from the synopsis alone, although I did not actually get to dig through more about what the book was, let alone read it. Because I read Salinger's Catcher in the Rye, and the protagonist was a boy, whereas this one, Franny, is there's this young growing up woman who's navigating the world, and I felt that okay, maybe I could see parts of myself in her, although I have not actually read it, so of course I wouldn't know for sure how much I would be able to relate to her, but from like family situations of perceived inauthenticity and all that. So based on that alone. So
and that's very interesting, because when I was reading about Franny, I was actually thinking of people I know, and I was thinking of, okay, all right, so this is, the typical feeling of, everybody's everybody is not only what we went through, but presently, even, people, who are in their late teens, early 20s, and, going through things and saying, I think that's what makes this story or novel. And by the way, Suen, this is actually 2 stories. One, Franny, was a short story, and Zooey was a novella, but now it was combined, right? In 1950 something, he combined the 2, and the one that, Guy, the one he sent the write-up, so I was kind of reading that. So that came together, and it's about this family, and I think the other book is about Seymour, right? There's another book here, which is Seymour, an introduction. Yeah.
I've sent a link to the.
Okay, okay. Thank you, thank you. So we have to read that as well.
Yeah,
So
there
that
are two long stories that were first published in New Yorker, and then they have been put together as a book. One is Raise the Roof High, Carpenters, and the other one, Raise the Roof Beam.
I have that. Raise the Roof.
Yeah, and the other one is Seymour, an introduction.
Is it all
so
Salinger?
Yes,
both
yes.
are about Seymour Glass.
Oh.
Yeah. Oh, I see. So that means I have to raise high the roof beam. Like, oh, another thing I must totally tell you is, which I highlighted in the book, is exactly what my books are like. You know, when they went to the book, when Zooey goes into their room, remember? The books are all over the place and stuff like that. So can I just very quickly read this to you, because it's like, oh my God, he's describing my. Okay, so just for the fun of it. Okay, the rest, okay, with very little exaggeration, was books. That means whatever's in the room lah. Okay, meant to be picked up books, permanently left behind books, uncertain what to do with books. Okay, but books, tall cases line 3 walls of the room, filled to and beyond capacity. The overflow had been piled in stacks on the floor. There was little space left for walking and none whatever for pacing. Oh, so he just described my sitting room spot on. Spot on.
Yeah, I was reading that and I was saying, good, thank God for audiobooks and ebooks.
Yeah, true. So it's very true, because certain books we don't know what to do with them, you know, are we going to read them or not? And I thought that was brilliant. And this was like years ago, decades ago. I mean, how do you not connect, you know, that kind of thing? Okay, all right. Sorry, talking too much. Yeah. Yes. Okay. So, anyone else wants to say anything? Karuna, I don't think he's there, but he's.
Yeah, he's in the car.
He's there. Oh, okay. Hi, hi, Karuna. Anything else you want to add? Subtract, multiply, divide.
Was it written as a play?
No. He was just. Okay.
Doesn't it look like a play?
No.
It is. I agree with you, because it is very much dependent on dialogues to push the story along rather than narration. That's what gives it
Actually,
that dramatic story.
Okay.
The start of Zooey kind of like, I think I kind of get what Karuna meant. Isn't the start of Zooey the way he wrote it is kind of like, okay, now imagine Zooey, imagine this time. Did I get that wrong? No.
Which one? Which part again, my dear?
The start of Zooey, the Zooey part.
Okay. Oh, the starting part. Okay, okay.
The whole setup. You know how Franny, the narration of Franny and the narration of Zooey is different, right? Franny was from a third person. I'm not mistaken.
Okay, all right.
And then Zooey is gosh, Zooey is weird.
and Zooey is very long. That's why apparently it was like supposed to be a novella kind of a thing. So a short story combined with the novella to come up.
Because the start of Zooey, there is this I person, okay?
Yes.
That is narrating Zooey. You know, we will, however, live this very years. Yeah. So okay, I'll get to the part. We will, however, leave this body glass in the third person from here on in. At least I see no good reason to take him out of it. Okay. 10:30 on a Monday morning in November of 1955, Zooey Glass, a man of 55, was seated in a very full bath reading a 4-year-old letter. So and from there he starts describing the scene, the dialogue and whatnot. So I can understand why it seems like a play. And this is very interesting. Who is this I?
Oh yeah, true.
This story needs to be read at least twice, I feel.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
At least
I totally agree. Yeah. And what was he doing? He was reading it in the bathtub, right?
Yeah.
You were
Okay.
reading
like
the script on the in the
yeah.
bathtub.
And I'm like, dude, you will get the paperback. Can you get out of it for the
No,
sake of
okay,
my
so
anxiety?
later on, let me send you something beautiful that I think that also sells. And for if I were a paperback book reader or whatever, a print book reader, I would definitely order that. It is
Oh,
to be, yeah, if you have a bathtub, that is, if you're a
okay,
shower
okay,
person, it won't help. But it's like a tray, and
okay.
Oh, I know
they
that.
put on, yeah, okay, and then you can
Oh,
put
yeah. Please
one of
send
those
us the
plants.
image. Okay.
Sure,
I
right.
don't have a tub or anything, but no issue. Anyway, no, but it's interesting because people also show you now books with little lights in it to read and stuff. So there's so many things that can be
Yeah.
done. And I also like the fact that they kept referring to the blind. So I got confused as to the how much, space was there. But she went to the blinds and then she turned it on, something on the other end, and then put the paper. She said, "Oh gosh, this will get wet," and she put it there. Remember, Bessie did
Yeah,
that?
the
So I was like,
regulator.
okay, where is the space for all this? I mean, and then they kept saying it's not a very big apartment, isn't it? Even the rooms were quite small. So amazing. Yes, interesting.
Right.
At one point, I was wondering whether Franny and Zooey were twins, but I don't think
Yeah,
they were.
yeah.
No, they
Actually,
were very close in years.
yes, but actually, Steph, you're right. That could have been possible. Okay, because it was like every time they are referring to, but I think somewhere they referred to her as a baby, right, during the Sema's birthday or someone's
Yeah.
birthday. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Okay.
Seymour, it was Seymour's what do you call it, diary
Oh,
on the board.
his cards, the filed up
Right, the
cards.
cards.
Oh,
Right.
yes, yes. And also, if you notice, Boo Boo is not mentioned too much. She's the one who seems to be the most stable with the 3 kids and busy
Yeah.
with the life. But yeah,
The one that
okay.
got away.
But if you look at that, can I just explain something? Of course, this was in the 50s, but in the 1970s, there were these shows. I don't know whether Karuna and Azita would know about them. They were called, one was Dallas, the other was Dynasty. Okay. So
Yes,
in Dallas
yes.
and Dynasty, some of you might know it, the offshoot was very interesting, the Colbys
Yeah.
and Knots Landing. So that was like, those people who didn't matter so much in Dallas, suddenly you see that they have a life elsewhere. The second
Right.
son married to this. And, I thought that was amazing, And so it actually made me, I thought of all these when I was reading this, but the closest I got, one of my favorite shows when I was growing up, family movies, was The Waltons. Have you ever watched that? The
Not
Waltons.
me, but it was a favorite of my parents.
Okay.
So I was too young. Sorry.
You were too young. Okay. So the Waltons, I was like, I grew up, we just would wait for that, day. It was, I think, every Thursday or something at a certain time, just to watch Waltons. And again, I think 7 siblings, 6, 7 of them. And then, but this was more countryside. And this was, of course, before, I think around that time, whatever, but in a different place, not New York, So all those things, when you grow up with this and then you think of this, and I said, wow, very interesting, all these things that happen. And I also like the fact that he actually made them young celebrities, and he talked about talk shows, because we must remember when America was going through this, the fact that we use the word soap era, actually they said it goes back to the soap advertisements that would have happened on radio. Okay, so people actually started looking at it. And then, of course, later people added on the lather, the soap, and then you make it very, passionate and stuff like that. But actually, the advertisements for soap and all that led to a lot of these shows and stuff. So that was very interesting, because he's actually, I thought Salinger was like, the culture part was so well put forward, Yeah. I just have to read up now, because I haven't had anything to read up, the background and stuff. Yeah, then I think we can know more. Right.
I do wonder though, like, what would the current, I mean, we are fascinated by it. We don't have the, okay, wait. Let me restructure my sentence.
We are in a different country, different culture.
Yeah, I do wonder what the current American, the one that is a bit more leftist, or the current American, particularly white men, would think of the characters. Whether they would see um, them as very privileged, and but then very moany or whatever, because we don't have that cultural perspective. Yeah, I guess this is something I could bring up to my friends
Yeah,
and see what they say.
Aisha, definitely. I
Mhm.
definitely think, yeah, many would say, privileged lot, and they always say that. Right? They say that depression is an illness of the privilege.
Yeah,
They actually say
yeah.
that, which
I've
is
heard
very wrong,
people
of
say
course.
that. Yes, of
Yeah,
course.
it is very, very wrong. But what is there? What you said, I'm sure there are many who will come across that. Another interesting thing, no non-whites, right, in this story.
No.
Okay. I
Yeah.
was just trying to
Sorry,
think.
no what?
No POC in this story.
That means no, say, like the a Negro woman who's a washerwoman or cleaner or something
Not
like that, or
even
Latino or something. No,
not even in Catcher in the Rye, right?
because it's very interesting, because it's New York, because it's New York. I would have thought there would be more
But maybe
a
New York,
variety
is it?
at that time. Okay,
Yeah, at that
okay,
time.
okay,
I guess so.
okay. All right.
I mean, I would not be against J.D. Salinger for
Oh,
not
yes,
having
yes.
it, because
Definitely.
that's how
I
it is.
just suddenly thought, oh, okay, all right. What the novel is peopled by who, that kind of thing. Okay, all right.
So I've put the link to that bathtub thing.
Oh, okay. On the chat.
The Cuddy that.
Oh, okay.
in
Thank
the
you.
Zoom
Oh,
chat.
Shopee. I like that. Okay. Use the acronym for proud of concert. Oh dear. POC. I see. Okay. All right. So I think anybody else wants to say anything? Then we can, I think, stop the discussion before we go to the.
It's a bit unfortunate that there's only just 7 novels,
Yeah.
because it's very good book.
Yeah, no, but it's okay. I think because some people either don't have the time, and actually for me right now, I should be marking my assignments, but I said, no, of course I cannot.
I haven't started on Dubliner, so I'm doomed tomorrow. So.
Oh, okay. I don't know so how far I'll get, but then I think I'll just listen in tomorrow. By the way, Sue Ann, we have a discussion on the Dubliners James Joyce's tomorrow. If you want to join, do join. Okay.
I'll see about that.
Okay. All right. Okay, but that's late. That's at 5 p.m. our time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And also there's something on about folk tales and fairy tales tonight and tomorrow. I'll post the link, okay, because it's hosted by you. So Tutu Datta is going to discuss the book as well. And Iban Dreams, any of you read that?
Oh, I've heard of the book.
Okay. That author will also be there. So I will just put the link there for you guys.
You know how certain we've spoken how like people Catching the Rye would be the only book that J.D. Salinger, if people would read off him.
Yes.
Yeah, it would have almost been the case for me. Some authors, people just read one book of them and that's all. Now I'm tempted to read, now that I know there's more about the Russell family, more tempted to explore his work.
Yeah.
Also this book called For Esme, With Love and Squalor.
Oh, interesting.
Can you put the names of the other
Yes.
books about the glass
Sure. I'll just take the screenshot of it's at the back of the I'll just take that screenshot and put that. Okay.
Yeah.
I'll put that in the group so everybody can see it. Okay. So also by J.D. Salinger. Okay. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So then we will stop here then for today. Anybody wants to say anything else? Wants to need to tell us to read anything else? Please go ahead, and then I'll stop. Yeah.
I actually didn't plan to read this book. This is one of the books that I rejected for this year, but I just, for the sake of reading it, and I'm glad I did. Because like I enjoyed certain parts, the philosophical part, yeah.
Okay, glad. I'm so glad you read that, because I think, and actually this discussion can go on a lot, because we didn't look at the philosophical parts, or the parts where he talked about that. There's a lot of things to do. I think maybe one day, just offhand, we can
Actually,
just talk.
Zooey reminded me so much when I was really struggling with my faith also, because I remember I always go and ask my mom, my uncle, and the father in the church. They all will just say, "Don't ask questions, just follow." So I can't take it. I need reasons. And when Zooey asked those questions to Franny, it's like, wow, finally someone who I can relate to. Yeah, I wish I met Zooey in real life during that time.
No, but there are many people like that, Steph, who asks, because if you don't ask, how do you actually know? And then there's so many faiths around. So that's why now I've just decided, okay, I'm a free thinker, because I cannot deal with this, that. Okay, everybody's fine, everybody's okay, and it's just not easy. But what we do is we respect all religions lah. We like what's happening, and I mean the good things that are happening in each place and stuff like
And
that.
when you guys were talking about Jesus as a character, about him not just being about love and everything, right? I just add, since Azita mentioned the Quran, right? Even in the Quran, God himself is being emphasized that yes, he has his he talks about punishment and rules and whatever, but he is also an embodiment of love and everything. And in fact,
Who are you talking, Aisha? Who are you talking about?
God, as in
About
Allah, as in
the God,
Okay.
the God of Islam, and the God
yeah.
of Judaism.
Oh,
Yeah,
Yeah.
so Allah and Jehovah,
Yeah.
Yes.
they are all rounded. So if you read
Okay.
Jungian psychology, this is something that he emphasizes, that they have the shadow part and those
Yes,
two
yes.
depictions of God, right?
Yes,
so
yes.
they have that
The
negative part.
omnipresence, omniscience, also in a way.
Well, that they are
That's a
all
different
as Aisha said, they are punishing, but they are also loving. So
Loving.
that when you read all the features or the adjectives that or the names of God, as it is called in Islam, there are hundreds. I think
99.
99.
Oh, you're 99.
The
Okay.
99 names of God, that they are very various. So they are good ones, positive ones, so to speak, according to public culture. You can call them positive. So that's to merciful. But on the other hand, they're the ones that show that they're vengeful even. Right? So
yes.
yeah. And the same thing is true about the God of Judaism, right? Jehovah. But when you talk to most Christians and they talk about their God or God as they say, it's love, love, love.
Okay.
And when you read the New Testament, it's not like that. It's the same thing as all the other Abrahamic religions, Islam and Judaism. It's different when you talk and when you read. It's a different story.
I have to disagree on that.
I want
Really?
to. Oh yeah, tell us.
This is a very personal experience. I mean, Christian is a very personal journey. So unless you are really able to experience the power of God, then you will, of course, you will take whatever that's written in the Bible as it is. But
yeah, if you look at it textually, that's what I'm saying.
But as a Christian, for me, it is not like that. God, for us Christians, we believe God is love. Love is
pure
God.
love and nothing else.
No, God is love. It's not God to love. God will love. God is love.
So
Yeah,
you
exactly. That is my point. That
so
is my
so
point.
Azita,
Yeah,
what
that's
did
why I'm saying when you read the Bible, and of course, God, there's stories, God punishing, and God is jealous, God and vengeance and all, but it's very hard to explain. You have to experience it, and I would say that God is love. And as a
Okay.
Christian, God is love.
okay. Okay.
I guess that's the difference, yeah, because even
That's why when I was growing up, like Franny, I was having a lot of questions because I couldn't understand the Bible. But when I was maturing and I grew up with the faith, I began to really understand the underlayers about it. That's why in Methodist denomination and Catholics, the one thing that both of them really disagree is about the baptism, because the Catholics baptize babies, and babies, they don't know a thing what's going on, and you baptize them.
Okay.
But in
Okay.
Methodist, the baby baptism is not valid. For them, you must
You have to
understand
be
the,
aware.
yes. So
you have to
that's
be-
why when I entered the Methodist church, I had to be baptized again because I really had to understand all those things.
Yeah.
So for me, Christianity is a journey that you are only be able to understand when you're mature. And when you read the Bible again, it makes more sense. So now I'm enjoying the Bible because it makes more sense with all the experience and all that.
and
Sorry,
you can
Azita, I just
see
have
more.
to.
No,
it's okay.
It's good.
Okay.
It's good that you said that. Yeah, and also baptism is encouraged. You know, the water baptism is because you should be able to say that you're accepting.
Yeah.
God or Christ or whatever it is. Yes, and also what I like is was it Franny or Zooey who talked about Jesus going into the synagogue and throwing off the idols and all that. Who was it? One of them was saying that, and they were actually saying that part of the. So I was thinking, yeah, I mean, very interesting that they're showing him that way. But then again, Zoe also keeps telling her, remember, how do you cannot understand the prayer if you don't understand the man. You don't understand, which I think is very true, isn't it? Like, you don't know this person, and how do you the Jesus prayer, right? How do you do that? So again, I mean, but what exactly is the Jesus prayer step?
Oh, it's the Our Father prayer.
Oh, okay. So
Yeah,
our
he
Father who
teaches-
art
he
in heaven,
teaches-
hallowed be thy name.
Yeah, he
Thy
teaches
kingdom come.
disciples how to pray.
Okay, I thought that was just called what was it called? The something prayer. Oh, I didn't know that was called the Jesus prayer. What was it, Azita? It's called
Patronatus or something. That's right. Is it the same as Patronasso?
Yeah, I
Am
don't
I saying
remember.
it
I
correctly?
know it's called the Lord's Prayer.
Yeah, it's the same thing.
It's the same. Oh, I see. Okay. All right. So if that's the case, yeah.
And that prayer is the most powerful prayer used for exorcism.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because I just watched Exorcism of Emily Rose.
Okay.
And the father actually explains the significance of that prayer.
Oh, I see.
Yeah,
Okay. Oh, so that is the prayer that she was talking about. Okay, I was wondering which it was. Okay, thanks. All right. So yeah, so if we don't have anyone else saying anything else or wanting to say anything, or of course there's a lot of things we want to do. We want to just go on and on. So I think we will stop here. And thank you so much, everybody. And what I'll do is I will post. I've taken a few photographs. I'll post on the link. And thank you again, everyone. So bye-bye till tomorrow, till the Dubliners. And I'll also be posting something on the fairy tales thingy if you think you want to join. But it's at night lah, 8 to 11 or something like that. Okay. All right.
Ling,
So
take
thank you,
care,
everyone. Ling, and don't worry, Ling, about anything. Things will be okay. All right. And Guy is there with you, so don't worry. And Guy also, good luck. All will be negative.
Have fun
Don't
at the
worry.
BNB.
Yeah, exactly, the BNB. Yeah. Okay. So thank you, everybody, and thank you so much, Suen, for joining us. Yeah, and I hope you will join us
Nice
again
to
for
see you,
other.
Suan.
Yeah.
Hope you're doing
Hey,
well.
Karuna is putting up his hand. Okay. Anyway, yeah. So thank you, everybody. So see you guys tomorrow. Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Thank
Bye,
you.
everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye. See you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.